Good morning, students. Today we are going to study lesson number 3, the Union Executive. Refer to page number 75. Today we are going to learn the structure of the Union government. Now the Union government means what? The central government. The chart you can see, in the chart it is given the Union government comprises of the President, Prime Minister and the Council of the Ministers. You can see the President is responsible or the head of the legislature and executive. Legislature, in legislature you have the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Executive, you have the Prime Minister and the Council of the Ministers. Therefore we can say the legislature, executive and judiciary are the three organs of the state, and they work for the welfare of the people. Now in a parliamentary system, what happens, the executive is a part of the legislature and they are responsible to the legislature. Now we can say that the president is only the nominal head. Nominal head means what? For the namesake. And the prime minister is the executive head. Actually the prime minister, he carries out the administration in the name of the president, and he keeps on informing the president from time to time. Now let us learn about the president. Now in the Constitution of India, what happens, the president is the supreme head of the state. Therefore the office of the president has the highest honor and prestige or respect, and he represents the Republic of India. All the executive powers of the state are vested or under the control in the president by the Constitution. The government carries out its function only in the name of the president, but in reality or actually the prime minister and the council of the ministers, they run the government. Therefore we can say the president is just a nominal and constitutional head, whereas the prime minister is the executive head. Now let us learn about the election of the president. How the president is being elected. The president is indirectly elected by the people of India. The common people, they do not vote for the election of the president. Therefore the president is elected by directly elected representatives of the central and state legislature. Therefore this group of these parliamentarian and the members of the state legislature is known as the electoral college. Now the tenure of the president is for 5 years. Then he should be minimum age of 35 years and he should be the Indian citizen. While taking the position of the president, he has to take the oath and he has to bear the responsibility of protecting the constitution and ensures that the government has to be run as per the constitution. Now the responsibility of protecting the constitution lies in the hands of the president. But in case if the president violates the constitution, then the parliament has the authority to remove the president, and this is known as the process of impeachment. Then how to remove the president? If any one house lays a charge of violation of the constitution, then the investigation is being carried out by the other house. Then the resolution has to be passed by a special 2/3 majority of both the houses of the parliament, then only the president can be removed. Now let us learn the powers and the functions of the president. According to the constitutions, there are several powers and functions which has been given to the president. The president summons the meeting of the parliament, means he calls the meeting of the parliaments, or prorogue. Prorogue means what? He can stop the session of the parliaments. He can send messages to both the parliaments and he can dissolve the parliament after the tenure is over or before the tenure is been over or before the period gets over. Then the second one, when the bill is passed by the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, it must be signed by the president. Then only the bill can be converted into a law. The president appoints the prime minister and the other ministers on the recommendation or on the suggestion of the prime minister. Then the president appoints the judges of the Supreme Court and the High Court. The president also appoints the governor of the state, chief election commissioner and the other important officers. The president is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Then the decision whether we have to go into the war or have peace with any of the nations is made by the president. Then the president has some judicial power also. For example, the president has the power to reduce the punishment, grant a respite or commute a sentence of a person, or in special condition or circumstances grant pardon or reprise to on humanitarian grounds. Means what? That if a person a sentence has been given, if he sends a application to the president, then the president can think over it and can reduce his sentence. Then the president has the power to declare emergency in case of the crisis situation arising in the country. Therefore, there are three types of kind of emergencies. They are national emergency, state emergency, financial emergency. In the absence of the president, the function can be carried out by the vice president. And who elects the vice president? The vice president is elected by the members of both the houses. Now let us learn about the prime minister and the council of the ministers. As we know, the president is only the constitutional head and he has his powers are nominal, but actually the prime minister and his council of the ministers is responsible for the administration. Now let us learn about the prime minister, how he has been elected. The party which attains a majority in the elections nominates their leader and then becomes the prime minister, and the council of the minister is being formed by the prime minister, who is trustworthy colleagues from his within the party itself. Therefore, the prime minister and council of the ministers, they should be first the member of the parliament. Suppose they are not the member of the parliament, then they are required to get elected to the parliament within the 6 months of their appointment. We can say that the real executive powers are in the control of the prime minister and the council of ministers. Now let us learn the functions of the prime minister. Now he, first of all, he has to elect trustworthy and efficient colleagues as ministers who have administrative experience, governance skill, efficiency and technical expertise. Then he has to allocate portfolios, means what? He has to give the particular departments to each of the minister. Then he has to maintain coordination in the working of the various departments, plus he has to supervise the working of the various departments in order to maintain efficiency and efficiency, means accuracy, and good work has to be carried out. Now he has to attend the meeting of the council of the ministers and he has to lead the council of the ministers. He has to provide a strong support to the people during the disaster. He has to also build and raise the image of the country in the world and work towards creating a favorable opinion towards the country. Now let us learn about Jammu Ministry. What do you mean by Jammu Ministry? Now earlier what used to happen, a large number of the council of the ministers were there in our country, but later on there was a amendment or change in the constitutional and there was a limit in the size of the council of ministers. As per this amendment or change of the law, the number of the ministers in the council should not be more than 15% of the total number of the members in the Lok Sabha. Now let us learn the functions of the council of ministers. Now in the parliamentary form of government, what happens? The council of the ministers first they take the initiative in making the law. The scheme or the policy plans are first drafted and then it is discussed in the house. Then the council of the ministers, they discuss the important questions before making or arriving to a decision. Then the education, agriculture, industry, health, foreign relations, among other subjects where the council of the ministers has to take certain decisions and they have to work accordingly and make the specific policy or programs. The parliament needs to be taken into confidence about the policy decision which has been taken by the government. Therefore you can say the ministers of the respective department, they lay the policy plan in the house and to bring about the discussion on it. Then after they arrive to a particular decision, implementation of the policy is the responsibility of the council of the ministers. Once the parliament approves the law, what happens? The council of the ministers has to implement them properly. Now we have to study how does the parliament keep a check over the executive. Discussion and debates. Now during the law making process, discussion and debates help the members to scrutinize the policy proposals and law, and they point the shortcomings, means whatever disadvantages is there, that is been discussed. Now these discussions are essential so that there is a good law making for the welfare of the people. Now question hour session is there. Now during the question hour session, what happens, our members criticize the government and ask the government the questions and argue over various issues. The concerned minister are supposed to give a satisfactory answer to these questions, and if the member is not been satisfied by the answer of the ministers, then what happens, the argument takes place as usually we see. It may result into a walkout, or the members, what they will do, they will raise the slogans or shout with the slogans, and they will disturb the whole working or the procedure of the house. Now the next one is 0 hour. Now what do you mean by 0 hour? During the parliamentary sessions, the period around 12 noon is called a 0 hour. Now here what happens, any question is been raised by the members for the public importance or the public welfare, and it is been discussed during this particular period. Now let us learn about no confidence motion. Now this is one of the most effective ways to keep the check on the council of the ministers. The government stays in power till it gets the support of the majority in the Lok Sabha. But what happens if the member of the parliament, they withdraw the support? What happens? It may lead to the loss of majority and the government cannot stay longer in power. Now the members of the house can move a no confidence motion by simply saying that they do not have confidence in the government. Then what happens, if the motion is passed, then the majority, with the majority, if the motion is passed with the majority, what happens, the council of the ministers has to resign. Therefore we have learned in this particular lesson about the president, then the working of the president, its functions. Then we have learned about the prime minister and the council of the prime minister. We have also learned about the functions of the prime minister and the functions of the council of the ministers, and we have also learned that how the parliament keeps a check over the executive by 4 ways, that is the discussion and debates, and question hour period is there, 0 hour period is there, and no confidence motion. I hope you must have understood this lesson. If any query is there, kindly contact.